everybody and welcome back. My name is Kari and today I am showing you all of the prompts that I have in my TBR wheel. I realized several months into doing this that you don't actually know all of the prompts that I have. So let me grab the ones from the wheel real quick so that we can include these. We have mood read, 2+ authors, which should be fairly self-explanatory. Random number, I'm going to use a random number generator, except I'm just going to do it shelf by shelf because I have about 2,000 books, between 1,800 and 2,000, and I'm not counting that high. Science fiction, name, just means there has to be a name in the title. Short book, generally speaking, I consider that under 200, 250 pages. Fantasy, sister pick, so my sister Christina, whose vegan baking channel will be linked down below as always, definitely go check her out. We'll pick my book. Newest purchase, which could be up for interpretation these days with my book buying restrictions. Rep, so there has to be some sort of representation in there, be that sexual orientation, race, religion, whatever. Blurbed, so it has to be blurbed by one of my favorite authors, or at least an author that I really enjoy. Gifted, so this means that somebody else has gifted me the book. Mood read, which I think we've already done, so we're back to the beginning. I'm clearly paying a lot of attention. And then the rest of my prompts are kept in this lovely little teacup that my sister got me for my birthday. So, let's see if I can keep all of these straight. We have dual POV. Let's see, I think we're just gonna put them on the saucer. That's where we're gonna put them on the saucer. Birth year book. This one is going to throw me for a loop because it came up in February, and if you watched my February TBR, you know that I picked Truman by David McCullough. Fun fact, I did not finish it in February. I don't know when this particular video is going up, but I didn't finish it. New author, so this could either be a debut novel or a new-to-me author. For example, I recently read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I'd never read anything by her, so that would count. Ugliest cover, I read Catcher in the Rye for this because it's just plain red. Turns out the inside matches the outside, but we'll get to that later. Bad or mixed reviews, fairly self-explanatory. Non-fiction, I do have some genre prompts in here as well, as you saw on the wheel with science fiction and fantasy, just because it gives me a little bit of a broader scope. Outside the West, so books that were written outside the US, Western Europe, or Australia. Because I don't know why Australia's West in my head, but it is. If I'm reading something by an Aboriginal author from Australia, that's different. It's a very fine line in my head, but it works. Continue series, so I've got a whole bunch of series ongoing that I need to finish. US history, because US history was never my favorite, ever. I'm a British person at heart. I was born in the wrong century, I was born in the wrong country, but here we are. Booktube rec, so a book that is super hyped on Booktube or that was recommended by one specific booktuber, whatever it may be. Grim dark, so things like Poppy War qualify for that. Rage of Dragons also does. Cousin pick, I live with my cousins, one of them, basically whoever I come across first. Ebook, I do have several ebooks I need to read, so this also hopefully will motivate me to read more books on my Kindle, because I have a whole bunch. I go through phases where I buy them and then I just don't read them. Indigenous, so either Indigenous rep within it, like Rebecca Roanhorse's books, or also like Rebecca Roanhorse's books written by an Indigenous author. Either will work. And there are qualifiers with that, as in the Indigenous rep had better be not bad. Color, spin the wheel again, and whatever color it pops up on has to appear on the cover of the book that I pick. Reread, because I do actually reread a lot of books, so this will let me do that more. Not that the wheel is going to completely dominate my TBR, but audiobook, because we're working from home, I've discovered an enjoyment of listening to fairly simple audiobooks during the day, just for a little bit of more concentrated noise, kind of like conversations happening around you. So that one's that. It's very articulate. That one's that. Prettiest cover, self-explanatory. I buy based on covers quite often. Bind up. I have Queendom of the Seven Lakes and King of the Seven Lakes in a bind up. I also have one of M.K. Jemison's series in a bind up. Honestly, I couldn't tell you which one, because I have got to figure that out. But I have that, I have Lord of the Rings in a bind up, and I have the Binti series by Nnedi Okorafor in a bind up. Those are the ones that come to mind. TBR Veteran. So it's been on my TBR before and I never finished it. Or it's just been on my shelves for a while. Collection. Generally this is going to mean a collection of short stories or a collection of essays. Big book. Books over 500 pages. I have a lot of them. Abby recommendation. This is very specifically for Autumn of Pelennor, or Abby of Pelennor, because she changed her channel name. And she and I have become good friends over, I don't know, last year and a half? COVID. A little bit before that, but we recommend each other a lot of books, and when we watch each other's videos, we almost always find another book that we want to read from the other person, so that's what this one is. LGBTQ plus should have that sort of rep, or it should be written by somebody who is out. Elizabeth I. Again, if you've been here a while, self-explanatory, something to do with Elizabeth. Poetry. Classics. Historical fiction. Blind pick, so basically close my eyes, spin around, and pick a book. If I land on a book that I've read, then it's whichever one closest to it that I have not read. Middle grade. Mystery. Romance. And new series. So obviously starting a series that I haven't begun yet, because I also have far too many of those. I will also be adding translated into this, because I do have, I don't know about a fair number of translated works, but I do have some translated works that I want to read that I haven't gotten to for one reason or another. So the more prompts I have, the better chance I have of reading different books. I'm going to keep that. Those are all of the prompts I have on my TBR wheel, so over the coming months, and however long I choose to do my TBR wheel, which to be fair, could be a while because I'm enjoying it, you will hopefully see all of these pop up at one time or another. Pardon the dog. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.